Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
It's been a while since I talked about Star Trek. I've also got a new VHS tape. Cats, the musical. It's the Broadway version.
Touch me, it's so easy to leave me.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Star Trek. We're talking about the episode Star Trek Voyager episode Alter Ego. Let's talk about it. So this episode was directed by Robert Picardo, who plays the Doctor in the episode. In the episode, entanglements ensue after Ensign Kim asks Tuvok for help falling out of love with a holographic character, who in turn falls for Tuvok, leaving Kim very jealous. Meanwhile, the U.S. Voyager encounters a beautiful but mysterious nebula. I gotta say, I kind of like this episode. I kind of like the ideas that they're trying to go with, in that, say, okay, Harry basically asks Tuvok for help, and yeah, at first, when, he's planning, when basically everyone is saying, okay, we're all going to go to, Neelix's party, because at first, Tuvok basically tells him, hey, if you feel you're having trouble, then, try to unwind, don't think about this girl, anyway. So what ends up happening is, on the luau dinner night, Tuvok basically ends up, going to say, hello, woman, how are you doing? Her name was, Marana, I think it was, and at first it's it basically becomes a bit of a friendship. It's not I wouldn't really classify it as a bit of a relationship, in that, they're able to talk to each other, she's basically say, well, would you still like to hang out? And say, I do not see the logic behind that.
I beg your pardon.
I think you're trying to isolate yourself and make a public protest at the same time.
Explain.
You didn't want to be here in the first place. Being the only one without a lay sets you apart from the others, allowing you to symbolically maintain your solitude. And since everybody can see that you're the only one without a lay, you're letting them know.
And all that. So she eventually basically starts to talk to him in a logical way of thinking that makes sense to him. However, what ends up happening is, Harry ends up seeing it, and then he goes saying, well, I thought you were a friend, why would you do this? And all that. Well, Tuvok is a bit unsure, wait, what's going on here? Because he's not totally understanding the situation. So, what ends up happening is, Tuvok ends up they end up playing, and the woman end up playing, a Vulcan game. It almost reminds me of Jenga. If Jenga was say, okay, you were it was a master. Well, it's almost sort of like Jenga, and it's a master of balance in a way. But what ends up happening is, Tuvok basically goes saying, okay, Harry, I think we need to, putting into this. So basically, he says like, okay, we're deleting the program for this one. So what she ends up doing is she ends up basically taking the the projection of the Doctor, meaning she's able to come to life on the ship. It's sort of like the episode of when Moriarty in TOS in TNG. It even references that episode.
Not without you.
Tuvok to bridge. Intruder alert. Security team to my quarters.
No! Why did you do that? Don't you want us to be together?
Given your actions, I have no choice but to consider you a potential threat to myself and to Voyager.
But you're wrong. I would never do anything to harm you. Make it stop!
And yeah, I kind of like that, the fact that, there's basically this character that in a way becomes obsessive with another character. But at the same time, they're just like, they don't fully understand it. They're just going like, say, well, I don't see it that way. Anyway. And yeah, I thought this one wasn't too bad. I thought this was a fairly engaging episode. And at the end of it, though, Harry and Tuvok ends up, they end up still staying as friends. Like, Tuvok ends up teaching him, the game, which was, a very difficult game that took him several years to learn. So, anyway, basically their friendship, starts to develop. Sort of like how their friend, Harry's relationship with, Tom. So, overall, not too bad of an episode. At least that's how I feel about it.